Reverend Al Sharpton is a poverty pimp. He is a taker. He is not a giver. He's a taker. He's not anybody that's going to empower the Black community. And that is why they have the same mindset that they had in the 60s and 70s when they were marching. And we are in the same position or worse, begging for the same things with less independence, with less inspiration, with less with less courage than we had then. All right, man. We got Al Sharpton, DEI Al, aka Poverty Pimp Al, aka drain as much money from the Black community, acting as if you're working for the Black community, but in all actuality, you're just continuing to push the same problem that we've had for a very long time in our country as Black Americans, and that's a victimhood mentality. But we're going to learn a little bit more about it. Al Sharpton, I guess they're deciding to boycott the businesses that are getting rid of their DEI programs, and they're doing a boycott. I guess that's what he calls it. So they're going out and supporting and buying from the companies that have continued to implement the DEI practices. So we talk a lot about DEI. I think a lot of times DEI is something that can be overly emotionalized, where people don't even realize that they're hustling backwards. Now, what do I mean by that? You're hustling for something. You're out there on the forefront, pushing for something, not even realizing that you're not even the person that benefits from it the most. Why are Black people always frontlining fights that benefit their people less than the actual people that are fighting for it? Everybody has said over and over that DEI benefits white women more than it benefits any other group. And there's a whole bunch of other groups. We just saw a video. Maybe I'll show y'all the video. We'll bring it all together. Let me actually show y'all this video where this woman, she's identifying the fact that Black people are like number 7 on the list when it comes to the people that benefit from DEI. However, once again, like I said, we're always at the forefront of these things. We're always at the forefront. Why? Why are we always at the forefront of these things? Let's take a look at this video. You guys let me know your thoughts. Then we'll jump back into the Al Sharpton video. But matter of fact, I don't know. Yeah, take a look at this real quick, just so you guys can see. We'll put everything together for y'all. So I think it's important to put everything together. So let's take a look at this video. Let me share the screen. Let me switch to Instagram. All right, boom. Here we go. Volume is up. Take a listen.
A lot of people are looking at the Black community.
We got it up. All right, let me actually change so you guys can see this better. There we go.
The real F around and find out moment is here. A lot of people are looking at the Black community thinking that we are the recipients and benefactors of DEI programs and affirmative action programs. And I know affirmative action is no longer, but whenever they hear the term DEI or they hear the term affirmative action, they look to the Black community thinking that we are the benefactor. Now, here's some information for you. The number 1 recipient of DEI are white women. That is according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And others fall under that group, under the minority group, the ethnic minority. Number 1 recipient under that group are Latino and Hispanic Americans. Number 2 are Asian Americans. Number 3 are Native Americans. Number 4, individuals with disability. Number 5, veterans. Okay? And number 6, the LGBTQ plus community. And guess who comes last? at receiving DEI benefits. Guess who comes last? That's right, Black Americans.
That's all we need right there. That's all we need right there. So let me pull back up the Al Sharpton video, because so keep this in mind. But once again, Black people always at the forefront. Black people, we are always allowing our protests and our agenda to be hijacked by another group that benefits from aligning with us. And then when they do their own thing, don't bring us along when they're pushing and knocking through doors. They don't bring us through those doors. We've seen it time after time. We saw it with the Latinos that attached themselves to the Black movement in the 60s, a lot of the women's movements. We see it with the LGBTQ movement, with George Floyd. It wasn't enough to just say Black Lives Matter. Now we had to say, well, Black lives, Black trans lives, Black LGBT. The Black movement is hijacked on a consistent basis, and it's hijacked because of people like Reverend Al Sharpton, these poverty pimps that don't have any intent of doing good. I do not think that Al Sharpton is a good-hearted person when it comes to looking to accomplish things to push and free the Black community from this victimhood mentality that has oppressed us more than any other oppressor. They could talk about white supremacy. They can talk about anything that they want to talk about. Racism, Jim Crow, you could talk about whatever. The thing that oppresses Black people the most is us being manipulated to embracing this victimhood mentality that keeps us at the bottom, that keeps us dependent and reliant on another group, a political group that, let's be honest, all they care about is their power. They don't really care about doing anything good for us. They just know that they need us to support them when it comes to voting. And matter of fact, they do more stuff for other groups than it comes to us. Look at Joe Biden when he ran his first term. This is the guy that created the crime bill. He said his number one priority is the LGBTQ community. So let's get into this Al Sharpton video. I want to dissect Al Sharpton and a lot of his tactics that I believe is us hustling backwards and allowing these poverty pimps, whether it's the Black Lives Matter leaders, whether it's Al Sharpton, whether it's Barack Obama, whether it's any of them that are pushing you to do something on the strength of your color without doing anything for you on the strength of that color. Let's get into the video.
Our position has been, we announced on Martin Luther King holiday in a big rally we had in Washington, that we're going to, in 90 days, release a boycott list all over the country. But in the interim, we're going to do a boycott. We're going to go and support those that support diversity. And you must remember, these DEI programs are not only for Blacks, it's for LGBTQ, it's for disabled, it's for veterans. So our position.
Yes, we know. We're aware. Because nothing, just like Kamala Harris said in the video that she put out a while ago, she can't do anything specifically just for Black people. Al Sharpton thinks he's doing something by saying this is not just for Black people, this for this, but just because he knows that Black people can't stand on anything just for Black people, because the people that pay him and support him and line his pockets, and the Democratic Party that lines his pockets, because he's like the Pied Piper for the Black community, especially older folk, definitely not us younger folk. He knows damn well that they have no intent of doing anything specifically for Black people. And he knows that the only way he's able to push and act as if he's pushing some type of agenda for Black people is to align it with other groups that the people that line his pockets want him to align it with.
It's very simple. If you do not want to commit that you will have diversity in your workforce, diversity on your board, diversity on your C-suite, then why would you want to have diversity among your consumers?
Now, keep in mind, he said diversity amongst your board and diversity amongst your C-suite. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that.
There's some in the Black and brown community that say if you boycott stores that sell our products, that actually hurts us.
Tabitha Brown in particular said this.
But I think that is like saying in segregation time that if you fight for desegregation, I'm going to lose my job that is unfairly paid and unfairly done. We want black businesses to prosper, but we don't want them to prosper at the expense of dealing with the larger issue. We should take.
No, you don't want black businesses to prosper more than you want white businesses to hire black people. And that's a problem when it comes to black people. We talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. The only diversity, equity, inclusion that I care about is when it comes to ownership. That's true diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's what promotes people. And you work from a place of value. You want to know why? Because when you have diversity of ownership, just like with the Negro Leagues and the Major Leagues, we always go back to that example. When you see the Negro Leagues, which are a group of black-owned businesses, each team owned by a black owner, right? When you have that competing with the Major League Baseball, right? Instead of saying, oh, please hire me. No, we got our own business. We're bubbling. We're making more money than you guys. We're doing more business than you all. We're selling out your stadiums. Then what does Major League Baseball do? You think that Branch Rickey reached out to Jackie Robinson because he just wanted to be a good person and his moral compass was just telling him that he needs to bring some more black people into the major leagues? It was a business decision because the best ball players were in the Negro Leagues, and that was shown when the Negro Leagues would compete against the Major League Baseball, and the Negro Leagues would win a lot more than the Major League Baseball teams would win. Those all-star games between the Negro League All-Stars and the Major League Baseball All-Stars. Ownership diversity is what we should be pushing, not begging white-owned companies or whatever other race-owned companies to hire black people. Show the value. If somebody's not hiring you because of your skin color, you should see that as an opportunity to say, I'm going to compete against them, and an opportunity to have a rallying cry where you can round up the troops and say, yo, this company isn't hiring black folk. That should be something that black folk get behind and say, you know what? They're not. All right, we're going to lock in, we're going to build, and we're going to now compete against them. And we're going to beat them. And then when we beat them and we're showing them a certain level of success, then they are going to value us and want to not only pay us, but to pay us top dollar because they know that they can't compete with us. The problem, what we did with the Negro Leagues is we sold out our black-owned businesses in order to go to a white-owned league because we thought that the white water was just better. Why didn't we just bring on the white players to the Negro Leagues? Or if we're going to do a merge, I'm perfectly fine with that. Let's merge, but let's not merge just the players. Let's merge the ownership. The ownership. Okay, you know what? We're going to combine the leagues. We're going to combine the ownership. We're going to make sure that these Negro Leagues, we're not just giving up our ownership. You think the major league, you think the white owners for the Major League Baseball would give up their ownership? No. And the reason why they didn't have to is because they had more leverage, because black people looked at it with a victimhood mindset as if that league was better. And because they won't allow us to play in that league, we want to play in that league, which is a big sales lesson for a lot of us. When whatever you take away, people are going to want it. Even if it's against their own good, they will want it. You just take it away from them. They will be so emotionally engaged to the point where it's like, I want it, like a little kid that can't get ice cream. I want it, or his favorite toy. We don't even think about the repercussions of our actions. We don't even realize that, oh, by everybody going over to this Major League Baseball, now we just destroyed a number of black businesses and everything that comes along with those black businesses. At those black games, the people that are selling concessions, the people that are taking the tickets, everybody that contributes to that Negro League baseball game, you rob them of the opportunity to do so because you wanted to run to the Major League Baseball and you wanted to run to them with zero leverage. So therefore they could bring you on, and you didn't even recognize, you couldn't even see the big picture that we are destroying ourselves by doing this. Let's keep going.
Those companies and support them, put them online. We'd rally for them. We'd have buyouts with them. They should be calling us rather than trying to defend people who may give them shelf space, but will not guarantee that for the community. So there's a way to make both things happen at the same time.
I don't really have a big pushback on what they're saying as far as the companies. They're saying that a lot of black-owned companies, let's say that Target got rid of their DEI. So Target gets rid of their DEI, but a lot of black-owned companies still have their products in Target. So when you boycott Target, you're also boycotting a lot of those products. That just is what it is. That to me is like, that's like down the line. That's not a big point to me. You know, have your product online. I don't know. Have your own store. Goes back to that point. Have your own store. And we're gonna talk more and more about this ownership. And remember what I said. Remember what he said about they're gonna support companies that have diversity in their C-suites and on their board.
If Mr. Trump and his supporters can tell you you cannot make sure that you have a diversified workforce, then they can't make a law to make us shop and spend our money where we're not guaranteed that there's going to be fairness. Diversity programs started because there was bias against those communities. Now you're going to tell me when we're trying to correct the bias that you're going to penalize the companies? No, I don't think so.
So what does Al Sharpton do? I'm going to show y'all exactly what he decided to do. Him and his team, the New Action Network or Action Network. I forget exactly what the name is. National Action Network. Let's take a look at this video. We're going to skim through it a little bit. So I'm going to mute it for a sec, but I'm going to be narrating in the background. So they're organizing a bus trip to go where? To Costco. So I believe $25 was the amount. So what they did was they gave a bunch of people $25 gift certificates to Costco, and they organized this bus trip to Costco. So let me fast forward a little bit as we're going through the video. You see them jumping on the bus. All right, everybody got their T-shirts on. Okay, cool. We got security. We're doing a lot to go to Costco. We're going to support Costco because Costco supports DEI. All right, perfect. Let's hear what Al Sharpton has to say. Or is this just another one of it's just one of those capturable moments? This is just content. It's just content. It's just content for the reference.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion in the private sector.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion in the private sector.
One of the managers. This is.
So she's one of the managers.
I'm retiring in 5 days.
Retiring in 5 days.
Yes. My new leader.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Don't tear up my store.
All right, y'all. Don't tear up my store. I got to say it. This is a tactic that I see a lot of. I just got to be honest, white-owned companies. They're going to put that black woman in charge of that store, and she's going to guard it and protect it like she actually owns it. And you heard what she said when all these folk walking in. All right, y'all don't tear up my store. You one of the managers, sweetheart. You're one of the managers, sweetheart. And I get all that. If it's your dog, rep it like you own it. I get all that. But I'm just pointing out something. I'm not critiquing it. I'm just saying this is something that a lot of people do. You get the right black woman at the front of your store or managing your store. Yeah, y'all know exactly what I'm saying. Let's not make it about that. Let's not make it about that, because y'all gonna be getting on me about something totally different. All right. So as they keep going through the store. As they keep going through the store, I wanna actually, let me pause it real quick. All right, you clear it. You got a bullhorn in Costco, bro. Like, bro has a bullhorn in Costco. This is just a photo. This is just content. This is just content. So I want to stop here for a second. I want to stop here for a second and have a little bit of a combo with y'all. Matter of fact, before we go there, remember I told y'all to remember what? I said, keep in mind when he said the C-suite and the board. So since you guys are doing all this to go to Costco, let's take a look at Costco's board. Let's actually take a look at Costco's board. Where's Costco's board? First off, let's tell. Oh, he said shareholders, I believe. He said shareholders, and then he said the board. So let's look at some of the shareholders. You can't make this stuff up. Let's look at some of the shareholders. What do I see? Let me try to make the screen a little bigger. What do I see? I see Vanguard and BlackRock. Vanguard and BlackRock. If you know, you know. These are the elites. These are the people that control a lot of these puppet masters. These are black people get finessed so much. Take a look at who BlackRock is and who Vanguard is and some of the things that they invest in, some of the news stations that they invest in. Take a look at a lot of the things that they are involved in. And you tell me if BlackRock and Vanguard is a representation of pushing or inspiring and motivating and empowering the black community. Now, let me go to the C-suite or the board. I'm sorry. So as we're taking a look at this board, because the Reverend said it's important for us we're supporting people that got diversity in their ownership, but then Vanguard and BlackRock are the biggest owners. Diversity in their ownership, and he's talking about private, whatever. Okay. Diversity in the ownership and the C-suite, and the board. Let's take a look at their board. I see one black guy here, Kenneth D. Denman. Other than that, I see white man, white lady, black guy, white lady. So that's 4. 5 is a white guy. 6 is a white guy. 7 is a white lady. 8 is a white guy. 9 is a white guy. 10 is a white guy. 11 is a white woman. So I don't know. I don't see any black women on here. I don't see any Latino or Latinas representation here. I see one black man out of, what did we say, 11 people? Let's say 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That doesn't seem diverse to me. Matter of fact, black people make up, about 13% of the population? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. 13% of the population. So maybe 1 out of every 11, maybe people are looking at that as diverse. I don't know. But I guarantee you a whole lot of black women would be upset about this. I'm sure a whole lot of black women wouldn't say this is a diverse stage. I'm sure a whole lot of Latino and Latinas wouldn't say that this is a diverse stage. But we get bamboozled by Al Sharpton. We get bamboozled by these companies that say, oh, we'll keep DEI. People are not making decisions based on their morals, their values, and their principles. Costco probably looked at the type of people that come and shop with them, and they just made a decision. Hey, we're keeping it. I don't know why. I'm sorry, Costco. I don't know. I may have said Target. I don't know why Costco is deciding to keep their DEI programs. The reason why I'm against DEI programs, let's get into the meat of this conversation. Let's get rid of all this stuff. I don't need any of y'all right now. Hold on. Let me remove this off the stream and just have a little convo with y'all. The reason why I don't like DEI, and I wrote some notes down because I don't want to forget anything. DEI encourages a worker mentality. What did I say that true DEI is? It's diversity, equity, inclusion involving ownership, involving board members. You can say whether or not Costco's was diverse, equity, diverse, equitable, and inclusive. That's for you to decide. I believe it only comes down to ownership in those high level areas. If you're talking about true DEI based on what Al Sharpton said, right? See, I don't think that DEI encourages people to go out there and own and compete and do the things that I said earlier. If somebody's not hiring you, okay, cool. You just put the battery in my back to now start a competitive business. I'm going to show you exactly my value rather than beg. People who think highly of themselves do not beg to show and demonstrate their value to other people. People that are confident, people that don't embrace victimhood mentality, they're not just going to just be okay with begging to prove their value. They have the confidence to go out and say, you know what, we'll create our own and compete with you. And when we create our own and compete against you and we beat you, then you'll understand the value that we bring to the table. And then you'll come to us with that checkbook open, asking us, begging us to bring our value to your business. That's DEI through value, through meritocracy. That's how I see DEI. DEI right now is begging companies that are not white to hire black people. So in doing so, Al Sharpton may not admit this or not. Democrats may not admit this or not. But if you're fighting so hard to beg people that may not want to hire a certain type of people, what you're doing is you're discouraging those people from having a certain added pressure that may be necessary for you to take the risk in order to start your own business. Because you're saying, no, let those people hire you. Because if that wasn't an option, what do you have to do? You got to create your own. You got to create your own, or just deal with it as such. Wait till somebody will hire you. Wait till somebody will, you can beg for somebody to see your value. So they'll underpay you, you thinking that, oh, well, I'll just get in at a lower rate now. And then I could always just prove my value and then make more. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Let me get to a couple things. Competition encourages diverse ownership. Competition. And like I said, so does racism and segregation. Because if you're being racist to me, that's a rallying cry, like I said earlier. That's a rallying cry to get us to finally wake up, to ignite the fire in us, to say, hey, we need to have some ownership of our own. So instead of begging those people to hire us, we can just hire whoever it is we want to hire. That should be the goal. I think I got to all the points, but it's just amazing how Al Sharpton has decided to go to a white-owned business, that, in my opinion, their board, not diverse. I didn't see it as diverse when it comes to Americans. That didn't look like a picture of America, their board of directors, the one black guy and everybody else just Caucasian. I didn't see that as diverse. Maybe you do. I don't know. But you're going to a white business that does not have diverse leadership to prove that you're supporting black people and DEI. Why didn't you go to a black-owned business? Instead of you feeling like you needed to create some content and go to Costco, you just recommended the same thing you recommended to the lady Tabitha that was complaining about y'all boycotting the businesses that the black products are in. And you told her, oh, you should go online. Reverend Al, why didn't you go online? Why didn't you take your $25, save the money that you did from the camera crew, that you had to pay the camera crew, save the money that you had to pay for the bus, save all that money. So now maybe you can give people $75 to spend and you can spend it online at a black business, but then you wouldn't have the optics. You wouldn't have the video shoot. You wouldn't have the content. You wouldn't have the photos that show you embracing the community. Reverend Al Sharpton is a poverty pimp. He is a taker. He is not a giver. He's a taker. He's not anybody that's going to empower the black community. And that is why they have the same mindset that they had in the 60s and 70s when they were marching. And we are in the same position or worse, begging for the same things with less independence, with less inspiration, with less with less courage than we had then. See, I get maybe back then why they thought like, okay, for us to live in this country, we have to desegregate. We have to, join, be within the. I can't even say that. Honestly, I don't believe that. I would say I can see it. I can see it. I can understand it. I can see it. No, I can say that. I can understand how back then you thought that the path was to desegregate. But to me, it is foolish for us. Foolish for black people. Foolish for anybody to look at something that was implemented 60 years ago, like a lot of these social programs, affirmative action, DEI, whatever it is. Look at the impact of what it's done to the community. Has it helped or has it set us back? Are we begging for the same things in a worse position? And by worse position, I mean a worse mentality. Because back then we had a more motivated mentality. We had a more courageous mentality. We had a more fight mentality. Now we live in such comfort. What is it? Easy times creates weak men, right? Y'all know the saying, hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men create hard times. We're at the cycle where our mentality is probably the worst it can get because we have more opportunities, more privilege, but we're actually begging. We're using the same begging tactics, looking at ourselves as victims that we did in the 60s, in the 70s. And the only thing that it's landing us in is in the same position. And if you're in the same position that you were in 60, 70 years ago, that means that you're going backwards. That means that you've descended. That's my thoughts on it. So y'all may be fans of Al Sharpton. I think you can tell from this video that I'm not the biggest fan of him. I just don't see that the guy's genuine. I think that these type of leaders, they bamboozle us. Malcolm X warned us about these type of people. Even Martin Luther King warned us in a lot of ways. These are not true leaders. They are political puppets for the Democratic Party, and for money, these people like Al Sharpton will do any and everything. They will sell their people to slaughter in order to empower themselves. And that's where I'll leave it. I'll see y'all soon. Ew, it's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real